Your boy Birdman from the 5th floor.
And it's your boy King Luna first. And yeah, we gonna keep the intro short because I did this like 4 times. We joined here today by two fellow kings. We're gonna introduce yourselves.
It's your boy Saya from the Dad and Shit podcast.
It's your boy 9-5 from the Dad and Shit podcast. Appreciate y'all for having us with you.
So your podcast is called Dad and Shit.
Dadding and shit.
Dadding and shit. So y'all podcast is dedicated to fatherhood.
And some shit.
Yeah.
And some shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of fire.
Oh, wait, this is the podcast that I was telling you about that shit. I said that was fire as fuck. They had the photo shoot where they was all holding babies.
Was it?
Yo, son, that was I said, yo, I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't even listen to my podcast, but I said, I gotta listen to this shit because this is gonna be like one of the dopest perspectives that I feel like the culture needed. This is like, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I don't know if anybody else has done that, but this is something that the culture, this is the first to my knowledge that the culture definitely needed.
That was his idea though.
That's all your idea?
Yeah,
yo, King, that is.
I appreciate that
because
because
my boy Steve, that's not here, he couldn't make it today. That was his idea for the.
It's 4 y'all, right?
Yeah,
okay.
It's 4 of us,
The
yeah.
other 2 couldn't make it, but Steve's idea was for the photo shoot with the babies, and he said the idea and. Somebody brought it into like.
Yo, was that all y'all babies though? I just want to know. Those all y'all.
That's all. That's all ours.
What
we know about.
Nigga said that chicken DR ain't got no explanation on that one.
You know,
he's a
I gave a fake name anyhow.
Raul.
He said they don't know I'm really Haitian.
I saw that on my Instagram. I say, yo, like really shit like that. Don't even like. Everybody's a new podcast. I get it. It's a podcast era right about now. But that really caught my attention. Like, yo, I'm definitely gonna support this shit. I think I actually retweeted it because one of the guys we follow each other, but I didn't tag the podcast. I think I tagged him when I saw that.
Probably Steve, because shout out to y'all too, because when we getting the idea together, we was cooking up in the cribs and stuff like that. We need somewhere to do with that because, you know, sometimes it take a lot of work to get everybody together at somebody's one crib all the time. So it was like, yo, make somewhere central for the time being. And my man hit you, and you was like, yo, the studio. We like, all right, say less.
Make sure you tell. Yo, preach. You hear that?
We told him.
I remember. Okay.
Right.
Oh, it's him. That's what. Yeah. And I gave him all the info. Okay.
So preach is clutch. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, and you know, every time we come through, we show nothing but love. We got the time, everything's clean, ready to rock and roll, and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, I remember. I remember that conversation. I didn't know it was for this though. Oh, okay. Look at me.
You couldn't drop the jewel like, yo, we go.
That's a fact.
Just give us a.
Just give us a location.
This is definitely.
Yeah, but when we show. I mean, I appreciate that because a lot of times, you know how black people be.
Yeah.
Captain the Foul shit like. Don't worry about where I'm at. It's like, come
listen,
on,
nah,
like,
fuck all that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm just trying to get something done.
There's a million podcasts. It ain't gonna be mine. It ain't gonna be yours, and it ain't gonna be the next man's. Everybody got a different perspective to bring into the game right about now. And shout out to all the black creators and innovators who's stepping into this platform.
Right.
It's time to get these white people up out of this shit. It's our time now.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. We need white sponsors. Please give me that money.
Seen, like,
Jesus Christ.
a lane like that talks about like right now what it is to be like a dope black dad, like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've never,
and
bro.
So in June I had my first son, and so I started like just vlogging. I wanted to record every moment. You know, back in the day, dads had video cameras and whatever.
Now you got phones.
You know, if it was 20 years ago, I would have had that shit too. I was like, yo, I want to get this because I'm like these are things that people can't get back. You know, just chilling in the crib, whatever's going on, the baby kicking, and all of us recent fathers, except for one of my other men, which is great because he gives that dichotomy of like experienced fatherhood. So you get that dope balance. Yeah, he the vet, so he could give us some
OG dad.
Exactly. You know?
Here's the craziest thing about that too. I don't even know if y'all even realize this shit. Y'all had babies in the pandemic. Yeah. So y'all are.
No, I'm the only.
You're the only one
I know who. Okay, my son was born in June last year.
Yeah, that's
so young, he won.
Okay, cool. So you had a baby in the pandemic. So y'all are now you're introduced to fatherhood where you literally got to spend all your time with young bull. Like this is you have no choice but to be involved. You couldn't even be in fucking.
You are really turning into a Philly nigga.
Cause I catch that young bull.
You are really You said that in your actual vocabulary. Like, yo, this nigga, you really got to chill with this young boy.
I've been saying bull for years though. Ever since me dropped. But you feel me? You really got to spend time with him. It's like right about now, you can't even be a absentee dad because where you gonna go?
I'm stuck with this nigga.
It's a pandemic.
But it's crazy. So make sure everybody tune into that podcast. We talk about a lot of those things because like the career path that I chose, like I had no choice, but I had to work through the pandemic. So it's like, having to be at work, be safe, come home, be clean, be my fiance being pregnant, and then having to be with the hospital. And even still now, like, you go home, you gotta be clean. So a lot of that we talk about, and it's new. Like, it's, who in your life had to deal with a pandemic?
That's crazy. Like, how scared were you though when you? Bro, like I know, because like especially with sanitation and cleanliness,
it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like
I couldn't even imagine.
It's you're like, it's different when you like in the street, you gotta fight somebody or you got beef with somebody. Like you know what you are targeting. You can't see COVID. You can't like, you could do but so much, and even when you do as much as you can, people still get it, and like people was dropping dead like flies. Like the company I work for, the only company that powers New York City, but like we gotta go set up generators for hospitals. And there's trucks with dead bodies, so you see that and you're like, damn, that's crazy. I gotta work, but I still got a family to go home, and I gotta bring a new life into the world as this is going on. It's like, yo, it's like mindfuck is not even the word. Like, so it definitely was. But God is great, and my family and everything, and you just you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta hold it down, and that's a lot of what we talk about on our podcast. The ins and outs of those situations and. Dealing, even we still in it.
Yeah, we still in it.
Still in it.
Yeah. It may be lightened up and mentally we like. I feel like as New Yorkers, we just really just said, yo,
fuck it,
it's done. You feel me? Like, I feel like we got
over it.
We really just
we do our own thing.
We really do our own like yo.
We was for me. We outside.
I said it's done.
60 degrees.
You're cold. You're in. It's nice outside. Ain't boogie left and shorty. We on outside.
It's over. 60 degrees outside. There's no pandemic.
Yeah, there's no pandemic. It's
shorties I'm hitting y'all up for brunch.
I swear COVID was on pause last summer. I swear.
You know what it was?
Because remember it said it died in the heat.
Allegedly.
You know what it was for me? Because last summer was my son's first summer being here. Because my son was born in 2019 September.
Okay.
So like that's 2020 summer was like his first summer, and I'm like, damn, I can't do nothing because shit.
Can't bring him to the park.
I can't. It's his first. And I wouldn't be outside. I want him to park and whatever. But we still, we went to a water park real quick end of the summer. I was like, I'm not wasting.
Gotta do something.
I'm like, nah. I'm like, we gotta just protect ourselves and like, no, we gonna still go out and get this memory. Like, I'm like, listen, this water park it was COVID. You know what I'm saying?
We was out here wilding.
This is worth 20 times at any point.
We was out here wilding. You hear me?
Look, see that reason COVID.
We was wilding.
All right, boom. So, all right, cool. So, your podcast pretty much focus on like fatherhood and other stuff as well. You feel me? But that's really it was kind of like crazy how I just stumbled upon it. We tried to originally do this episode a minute ago, but we didn't I actually couldn't get the people that I wanted to do it, and I just scrapped it. So I said, yo, like, nah, I really feel like I had a conversation with my cousin. Like, you know what? Nah, I really got to get this. I got to get this episode off. And I'm on the gram. I just see y'all. I'm like, wait, that and shit. I mean, damn, well, if this ain't a sign from God, I don't really know what is. You feel me? So pretty much, I wanted to touch on a couple things. So I kind of feel, got to call a spade, man. I feel like as of lately, for the last couple of years, for a long time now, I feel like dads don't really get a lot of credit like
last
that.
Couple years?
Decades. All right.
Beginning of time.
Okay, you feel me? I feel like dads don't really get enough credit. I feel like not taking anything away from mothers. I'm not saying you guys don't deserve. You guys don't deserve. Yeah, everything that you get, you're entitled to.
Father's Day, we get a fucking JCPenney commercial for more tools.
I just kind of feel like there's a lot of things, man, that dads have to, like, prime example, you said, your wife being pregnant, you know what I'm saying, giving birth. Also, some ladies suffer from postpartum. As a guy, you gotta hold. You feel me? For real, you gotta hold that. Now you gotta take care. You gotta make sure she's good and the little one is good. Not to mention your own health or whatever the case may be. So let's dive into that. What are some things about fatherhood that you feel like, now that you guys are dads, some things that like you're doing that like you don't feel dads probably really get a lot of credit for?
I think a lot of it is like the everyday stuff that men in general do, and as fathers that we do, right?
Yeah.
So like in my household, so we both work full time. Mm-hmm. But the way that my schedule works is that, like when I work for like 2.5, 3 weeks, those hours that I put in equals most people's like 5 weeks.
Oh, you do.
So when I'm off, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, like I cook because I enjoy cooking. Like if I didn't have to work, I'll be a race car driver or a chef.
That's a
You said a race car driver or chef?
Like that has to be a chef.
You be the nigga wilding on the Southern State. Got you.
Got it.
You know?
Definitely got you.
So, like, you know, just things that dads naturally do, right? Like I cook. Like I more so do the grocery shopping. Like when my son is home, like I want to make sure, like, you know, if he's bath time, like I want to be a part of bath time. You know, you know, I have a daughter too. So my fiance,
you got 2 kids.
Yeah. So my fiance, when I met her, she had a daughter. So our daughter now is 14.
Okay.
And my son is 8 months.
Okay.
And so raising her from 6 to now, so I've been part of her life way more than she's been alive anyhow. So that's my child. And just everyday stuff, right? You know, helping with homework, being there all the time. You know, I saw this tweet like a week or so ago, and they was like, "Oh, dad is always calling the mother like, what size he wear? Where's his insurance card?
'Cause I don't know."
Kind of stuff. But it's like that's for me. It's like that's regular stuff. Like I got my son's insurance cards in my pocket. Like I know what size my kids wear. I know what they do like or they don't like. I know what they need when they need, like, oh, they need X, Y, and Z. I know where to get it from. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I feel like it's worse now because of social media. Because social media now puts everything in front of everybody's face and they clown on it and they joke on it. But it's something that's been going on from the beginning of time, right? Like, man, yo, just go home, get bread, come home, get your meal, and, you know, and just chill. And it's really not that, though. Like, me growing up, I was very fortunate. My father was in my life up until he passed away. So take your kids to, my pops took us to the park. You know, my pops, you know, made sure, we knew things.
How many siblings you had?
There's 4 of us.
There's 4 y'all?
Yeah.
He was taking care of all 4 of y'all?
There were 4 of us.
That's a real nigga.
That ass.
Because I'm like, yo, all right, I'm going to take this 2 on Saturday, you take that 2 on Sunday. We going to rotate.
But that's where for me, that's where it stemmed from. Like, my pop was the epitome. Like, if my father was here, me and him was like, I'm like cookie cutter of who he was. And he taught me those life lessons. Like, at the end of the day, like, you handle your business as a man, regardless of where you at, but your family is always first. And we never, like, we wanted shit. Like, I ain't have no Jordans and that kind of stuff growing up, but as an adult now, I realize, like, why? Because
it's 4 y'all.
That's a fact. It's 4 of us.
We got about 4 bread 11s. Excuse me?
It's over. Listen, man.
We 4 raffle tickets.
Man, we making 2 trips to Payless on Junction a year, and we making it work.
Shout out RIP to the Payless on the Junction.
That's a fact.
So, like,
you know.
So me, I feel like the whole, like, dad don't get credit for it. It's like, we don't get, like, nobody cares.
They really don't. They really don't.
So it's like, really, I get the women's, they do their thing. Like, I'm not taking no credit for the woman. The woman is like, giving birth is like a crazy process. Like, just to see it, like, be there, like, yo, this shit just came out.
We
like,
jam our fingers playing ball and we ready to go to the Lord.
Meet
your mate. You gotta relax.
But just me personally, it's like my lady, after giving birth, I'm like, damn, like, I sat there in the hospital, saw the pain, and like, damn, like,
I'm not going back in there again.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
better you than me.
You're a strong person.
Yeah.
But now on the flip side, like, I'm not taking nothing away from them, but it's like after that, it's like us as fathers and men, we are the ones that got to deal with the woman. We got to support you. We got to be there for you, mentally, emotionally, stuff like that. But it's like that gets swept under the rug. It's like the women go through what they go through, cool. But it's like we got to go through that with you. So it's like it's probably like on an emotional tip, but it's like in men you can't be too emotional. You got to be the strong rock, cause you can't fold, cause she going through what she going through emotionally, cause she gave. Cause once a woman give a baby, like someone get insecure. Oh, my body. Oh, I gotta get back to this stuff like that, and like, you know, you gotta just. It's like basically whatever you was love and emotion you was given prior to the baby, you gotta give that times 10, double. And it's like that postpartum don't like stop, cause that could drag out. Like, it could be forever. Yeah. It could be forever, but like get less a little bit at the end.
Men, I'm telling you right now, just put 10,000 to the side for the BBL and get it, knock it out the fucking window. Do yourself a favor. Get the Lipo 360.
But even if they do that, they would still have insecurity issues even after they go with their body then. So it's like, it's really like, the parents just changed, but inside, you still probably be hurting. You still hurting. Because another example, say like the woman get epidural, right? It's a known fact that most women get epidural, they have issues later in life.
Lower back problems.
Lower back problems. So like, you can get your body, but you still at night, you dealing with this kind of pain. So it's like, that's something you can't change. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like probably one of the Do you feel like when it comes to postpartum depression, one of the things it can also be is like they feel like they lost that? Because I had a big discussion on my Instagram, and it was basically saying, do you feel like women with kids? Are you gonna put women with kids? And if you're in the dating scene, are you gonna treat a woman with a child on the same plateau as a woman without a child? You feel me? Like, are you judging them the same when you're dating? So do you feel like postpartum depression, one of the things that comes into play is that they feel like they lose that, not only that they may not lose that lusty vision with their man, but society now looks at them as less of a like you a mom,
like they stop drop.
Because not everybody can be Bernice. You can't be
that's a fact.
You can't be
but if you got the bag, you can
girl.
be if you want to. That's what I'm saying. But I feel when it comes to that stuff, right? So mental health in general is something that is very overlooked in our society.
Do you think so? Still,
100%. Because I feel like me personally, I feel as though when it comes to mental health, right now I look at it as two ways, right? Either it's never really addressed still, especially in our minority communities, and when it is addressed, it's put out as like a gimmicky almost. People be like, "Hey, look, I'm in therapy. I'm good."
Yeah.
You know, but it's like nah. But it's like sometimes people like I've gone to therapy, right? And the reason I ended up going to therapy was I lost my father in 2016, right? And so 2015. So when I lost my father, I was the man of my family. Like if it was a kingdom, like I became next in line to be king. Right? So I never had an opportunity to grieve. I didn't know what that was. And
how old were you at the time your mom be asking?
I think it was 27.
Damn, you was okay.
So I didn't know what it was to grieve. All I knew was, he died. We knew it was coming. We were there with him. He died. I bet, no problem. I'm gonna go handle this. Same night, let me go to the funeral home. Let me go handle this. Come home. Do what I gotta do? And it was just about business. I gotta take care of my mom. I gotta take care of my sister. I gotta take care of my family. There was no lane for a man to grieve. And I think that's one of the stereotypes is like you were touching on with fathers, right? In terms of feelings, there's no lane for a man to feel no way. It's like, you gotta sharpen up your boots and get it done, bro. It's like don't shut up about it. Just get it done. That's your job. Period. So when that happens, men have a lot of things that we deal with on a regular basis, right? When we go out in the street, like even tonight, right? We can go out, we can be walking down the street. Somebody could run up on us and be like, yo, what's good? That's a different type of element we in. It's go time. You know, women do have the things that they deal with when they go on the street, being harassed, there's rape, there's sexual harassment, all those kind of things. Abduction. But the things that men deal with, like if I was gonna go home right now, I'm gonna walk into my car, somebody try to run down on me, an altercation happens, I'll make it home. When I get home, hey babe, how was tonight? Y'all was cool.
Yo, dead ass.
You know, you could what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
But now you tight and you just sitting here like
it's not as I'm saying because
dead ass.
Like men have been bred and society has shown us like like you can't, like my man said, you can't fold. Like you just do it, bro.
Now I got a question for you. Do you feel like it's not more so of we don't have that outlet of grieving or being angry or anything like that? Or as being a black man, especially being a black father, and you're seen as the what is it? It's the patriarch of the family, right? Or is it matriarch? What are those? Yeah, patriarch. We know. Patriarch. You're looking at the patriarch of the family. You're now the king of the kingdom. A lot of us haven't had a lot of kings in our kingdom, so we have no example of what it's.
100%.
So as a female, I don't know how to even digest what you're coming to me with. And from all I see is from my brothers and from the niggas in the street, the anger and the testosterone, that's what I'm expecting you to bring home. This is what I'm expecting you to bring to me. So you coming to me with your problems and coming to me with your issues, nigga, go handle it. I don't know what it's like to take care of a man who's taking care of, I don't understand what it's like to take care of a man who's taking care of the business the right way that is.
Because if you haven't experienced that, you can't, it's hard. But that's where the curveball come in at. Because like now, if you get put in that situation, I say dealing with somebody, whatever the situation is like, you got to make it your business to be that person to fill that void. So, and that's where it comes super hard on you. Because for the woman's side, they look at it as like, they don't see how you see it. They see it as if, my father's like this. I expect you to be like this. When you come from probably the street or not, like me, I ain't have a father. My father died at a young age. Like I was an elementary type thing. So it was like, I grew up not really having an active father in my life. So it's different. So you meet women, they be like, oh well, my fault, this. Like now I gotta sit and like, you know, I mean, just in general as a person in life, not like I'm doing that to make her for her, but it's like, damn, I don't know what that's like. Maybe I need to figure out what that really is, because there's something I should need to know as in the life lesson as if I want to grow and mature and, you know, be a whole new better myself. So it's like you got to sit there and just be like, damn, like even though you probably know how to respond to them, like the correct things to say to them, or like without offending them, like being insensitive to whatever it is, you got to sit there and sit back and just learn small steps on how to do that. And you might mess up a lot. You're going to, because you're not going to know. You're going to come and be like, oh, but this. Oh, like, it be little stuff like, oh, you didn't do this or whatever. And it's like, oh, I had to. Oh, I want the house. You didn't tell me where you was at. Oh, damn, I wasn't used. I didn't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not used to that. So it's like, now you're like, oh, all right, you got to see the mess ups and like kind of correct it later. Like, all right, this is what she complaining about. But that's all come with communication with with people. But communication is the first part. It's the comprehension also. You can communicate all you want, but they're not comprehending or you're on the same page. It just doesn't. It's just stupid. You're just speaking for no reason. Right. So like once you find yourself as a man and understand like this is the next level in life that I'm trying to tap into or trying to like better myself. It's not just you bettering for a woman or anybody else, a family. It's just you bettering yourself as a whole. Okay. So it's like once you, but not every man gets that opportunity to do that. Some people's gonna be stuck in their ways, and not just that. They're not gonna change. I'm stuck in this hood mentality. I'm stuck. This is what I know. That's it.
I feel like a lot of us in this in the urban community. You feel me? We really are stuck in our ways. Like especially when you come from a certain cloth, and you're not used to having. We're not conditioned to having our voices heard. We're not conditioned to having our emotion. We don't know how to translate our anger. We've never been taught how to translate our anger other than violence. We don't know how to translate our anger other than confrontation. You feel me? So as you go through the motions, it's like, this is all I know, so this is all I can show. You feel me? And it's like, therapy has, I don't want to go back to what he said. I feel like therapy has really turned into like a gimmicky thing, you feel me? Trending thing. It's a very trendy thing, you feel me? And it's like, I feel like people only take mental issue. To be honest, I don't even think people really take mental issues seriously.
Those who do don't talk about it like that.
I feel like the only time, the only time I feel like people take mental health seriously is when unfortunate incidents happen, right? When like, somebody's having a mental breakdown and somebody calls police and now they get killed or they get hurt. It's like, oh man, they had a mental issue. Why we didn't send DHS? Why we didn't do this? Why we didn't do that? All that kind of stuff. But it's like, yo, you knew Pookie around the corner had problems. All his life, he was not, since he was a little boy, he wasn't all the way there. There was something going on. Let's not address it. Or if they do address it, it's for a check. And we can get SSI extra on him. Yo, let's go ahead and run that. So they don't say nothing to him.
I don't know what you said. I feel like that's something that we all need to work on, and even including myself. We have to normalize helping people before it's too late. Yes. A lot of people, like you said, you like to, let's say he coming to me and he's like, yo, I see, so let's say he got an issue at work. You feel me? I could have maybe helped him, but I said, I'm gonna do it later. But now he's about to get written up. It's like, well, then you ain't know that? Why you ain't ask me? You know what I'm saying? Let's normalize helping people before they suffer consequences.
Right? So back to kind of what you touching on, right? In our urban communities, like you hit him up like, yo, listen, I'm on the job, and every time it's this. It's this, right? Two parts, right? Us allowing ourselves to be vulnerable is like a no-no in black community, right? Like a man can't be vulnerable. You can't show no weakness. And also too is accountability, right? So if your man's just at work and he's fucking up, it's like, yo, bro, you fucking up. But why? Have that conversation with him. Hold him accountable. Like, yo, tell me what you telling me everything your boss is doing, right? But you was late every day this week. Okay, talk to me about what's going on. Like, I'm here. I'm your man's. Like, talk to me. I'm gonna talk to my man's. If you right, I'm gonna tell you right. If you wrong, I'm gonna fight with you in the street. But behind doors, I'm gonna let you know, like, you was wrong. We're gonna have a conversation about it, and we could break it down and see what's really going on. Because I've had friends who've had like issues. And you're like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? Every time we out, there's a problem.
Yo, say that shit again. That person,
you realize though, like, this person has issues at home. Like, they're not all the way good. So when they outside and they can find a target or they get a little liquid courage, they start targeting certain weaker people and stuff like that to get that out. But people are afraid to talk about people be afraid to talk about real shit.
You know what it is? People aren't comfortable having uncomfortable conversations.
At all.
That's really.
We need to normalize.
It's
that.
crazy you even just said that because damn, that just struck a nerve with me. You feel me? Because
shit, definitely. Man.
Like years ago, you feel me? Especially when I was in college, you feel me? Like I was off the fucking meter. Like it's like I went to college to become a thug. Like on some G shit. Like I was talking about this the other day on Twitter. We was really, when I tell you really thugging and bugging in college, I'm talking about shootouts, robberies, kicking in dorms.
For no reason.
I'm talking drugs. I'm talking about we was bugging the fuck out. And after a point in time, even years before that, I started realizing like people didn't really want to be around me like that because I was really I want to say the right word without saying the wrong words. I was very
dickheadish?
No,
oh, my fault.
God damn it. I was with it. I was definitely
You was on edge.
I was with it.
You was on edge.
But I was on edge for no reason. No, excuse me. I was on edge at that time for no reason. Mm-hmm. But as I dig deep down,
I know what the reason was.
I know what the reason was now. It's because I always felt like all my life, people have always tried to try me. People have always tried to try me my entire life. Number one, it started because I had very long hair. I had very bright skin. My whole life, everybody from my growing up age, everybody thought I was a girl. You feel me? Because my hair was so long. I had very feminine features. They thought I was a fucking girl. You feel me?
That's what bothers you.
You feel me? It started from there, like everybody trying me. Then I had glasses, and then I was fat. It was just a whole bunch of shit of everybody trying me. So
it's like, I ain't with it no more.
Instead of becoming a cop, fuck that. Instead of becoming a cop, I wanted to fuck niggas up. I wanted to.
I ain't gonna hold you. That was a better choice though.
Yeah, definitely a better choice.
Better choice.
If I would have became a cop, it would have been a whole. Y'all niggas would have had hell to pay. You feel me? You feel me? All right, bet. So it was a lot of shit that now that when I sit back and think about it, it was like fuck. I really had no.
So let me ask you a question real quick, right? So at that age, college, you 18, that's 21, 22 age.
Nah, bro. Oh, sorry, I'm young. I got skipped. I started college at 16.
Okay, so that's probably even worse, right? Now it's great because you were smart enough to get skipped. So now you at a younger age in an older environment. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So imagine, all right, you 16, 17, 18. Imagine somebody, how old are you now, if you want to ask?
26.
All right, imagine somebody 26 who's on the block, who knows a little something, or what I'm saying, and he was taught a little bit about mental health. And he would have called you to the side like, yo, you 16 in college, my man. The fuck are you doing, bro? You're like a fucking clown. Because think about this, yo. Martin Luther King was 15 in college. You 16 in college and dealing with this environment. So you don't feel like the shit you doing is bugging out? Why are you doing this, bro? And imagine you would have told him what you just told us, and he would have been like, all right, yo, listen, bet. If anybody try to play you, I got you. And then just to make sure you can
go to school, do your thing.
Imagine I'm not saying that your life is any worse or better now. Only God knows. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying there are people in positions who wild out at such a young age because they didn't know no better, or they didn't have anybody to show them better, or even just talk to them, and they in the ground now because they just couldn't talk about it.
The crazy part about it is, bro, this is my first time ever gonna say this out loud, bro. My whole entire life, I always wanted to be a gangster. I was infatuated with gangster shit. I was infatuated with gangbang. I'm talking about from a kid. Mm-hmm. I'm talking like from the time what grade was I when I was in at Flatbush SDA? I'd probably say since I was like 7 years old, I knew I was just gonna be Crip. Like me and my son Jonathan, we just knew we was Crip.
That's it. Don't matter.
That's it. That's all we knew. It's Crip from a kid. This is all I knew. And growing up, all I ever wanted to be was a gangster. I glorify gangster. I love gangster shit. You could ask me about any gangster from now to the 1930s, bro. I can give you a whole fucking documentary on it. I studied this shit. I love the life, bro. I don't know what it was in me, but I was always smart. At the end of the day, on the flip side, I was always smart. I came from, and I was always a leader. So that's what always deferred me away from it. You feel me? It was like,
I can't go follow this
I'm
shit.
my own man.
You know what I mean?
You feel me? I love the life. I love that shit, but I'm a gangster on my own terms. I'm a gangster on my own stance. You feel me? So when I got to college, it was really more so It was happening way before college. First things first. It was happening way before college. But I was more calm and more subtle about it. You feel me? It was
college is like, I'm away.
Who needed to know that it was really on. It was really that timing with me. Mm-hmm. When I got to college, I had something to prove because I was in Texas. I'm from New York. Y'all niggas gonna know I'm from New York. I was OT. I was like, yo, y'all niggas
gotta hold it down.
I went to school OT too, so I understand.
You feel me? So it's like y'all niggas gonna know, bro. I got all of these tattoos just to let niggas know I'm from New York. Let me tell you how much I fucked my life over. My car insurance was supposed to be $20. But I had to change my license to a Texas license. I said, fuck that. I'm keeping my New York license $175 my ass. I don't give a shit.
That's crazy.
I was that ignorant, bro. I had something to prove when I was out there, you feel me? And mind you, my father, I won't say my father hasn't been, he wasn't out my life. But he wasn't always in my life. It was like very sporadically, you feel me? But my father has taught me a lot of life lessons, you feel me? A lot of things that
your dad?
Nigga dumb. That I've gone through with life, you feel me? And one of the biggest, just being a man completely and standing on your own too. And when I got to college, it was like, yo, bro, you really got to be a man and stand on your own too right there. Mind you, my father lived down in Texas. But it's like, nah, you really got to thug it out. And then you met other like-minded niggas who was from the hood. And it's like, I met my niggas from Cali, like, oh, bro, you thugging and bugging too? Okay.
Yeah, come over here.
Come join that, bro. Oh, y'all thugging and bugging too? Oh, it's lit. You feel me? I was always cool, but it's what you said. Sorry to get off track. You triggered me with that shit when you said, "Yo, why this nigga weird? Why this nigga acting like that?" Because people was really looking like, "Yo, why this?" They used to call me Brooklyn. Like, "Yo, why this nigga Brooklyn?"
Yo, they call me Brooklyn in PA too. That's mad funny.
Whenever you from Brooklyn, yo, Brooklyn. It was like, yo, why this nigga bugging out like this? This nigga is wild. You feel me? Because I'm out there on the campus and it's just like I just had a nasty aura about me, and it's like we'll go to parties. I'm not going to the party. What about you not going to the party? Can I bring my gun to the party? No, you cannot bring your gun to the party.
I'm good.
Then I'm not going to the party. The fuck is wrong with this kid? We're 17 and 18. It's a party, bro. Nah, I'm not going. I was still stuck in a mode, you feel me? And then people was really asking, like, pulling other people to the side, like, what's wrong with dude?
Can't be around that.
We can't even, what's good with this nigga? Like, we can't even, I can't fuck with you, bro, because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what type of beef, you feel me? And then as I started getting older, I started calming down. I started seeing myself moving like that with other people. I don't even want to go out with you because, bro, I don't know who you got beef with. Every time I go out with
you, something like
that. Bro, when you said that shit struck a nerve.
Shout out to my nigga Glenn. Yo, anytime I went out with my nigga, yo, this nigga tried to get us to shoot up a church basketball game. What? He tried to hit a nigga in the head with a brick in the middle of church. Glenn, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. He was wild.
So look, I got a question for you, right? You said something that was interesting. So you say you have 2 kids. You feel me? One is 14, one is like 8 months. So you say you was in the young lady's life from, you said like 6 to 14. So my question to you is, what is that like? Because like one, you're being introduced to fatherhood and to be raising a young lady. You know, that's kind of like a culture shock for us. So like now that you are where you are in life, what advice would you probably give to like new fathers that are probably raising young ladies? Or maybe people who probably are entering the same situation that you entered in? Because I know that's a little different.
All right, so the first one first, right? So in terms of like, so when I met my fiance, right? So I knew she had a kid off rip. But for me, at the time, I was out single. It was summertime.
I ain't kid.
Listen, man, I'm outside. Man. I'm lit, man. I don't got to worry about no bread. I'm good. I got my own crib. Like what's up? But getting to know her, talking, vibing out, you're like, yo, like it's something a little deeper here, or whatever the case may be. And so we pursue that, and we get to working together, and making it happen. But she was very smart and protective, just as a mother should be. She was just like, I'm not gonna let you meet my daughter off rip, which I respected, because it's like, I don't know what this is gonna be. But you know what I'm saying? Like I feel as for the most days of the week, I'm a stand-up individual, and having a conversation with her and talking about it and stuff like that. And so as she and I, started to build, she became somebody who, like, I could lean on with certain things. I feel like at the end of the day, like, no matter how tough men have to be outside, sometimes you want to come home to something a little bit softer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes, all the time. It's a fucking I'm about to cry right here. The reason I
say sometimes is because sometimes you need your lady to be just as tough as you. You need your lady to be, yo, I'm outside, we gotta roll out.
Bro, my shorty's DMX.
So, but I'm saying, you need that, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want a shorty that you just walk all over all the time. You need a shorty who's gonna check you, let you know when you're right, when you're wrong, and different, you know what I'm saying? And she was that for me. And like I mentioned before, like my father passed, she was there with me. Like, my whole family was in the hospital bed. I was holding my father's hand, her hand was on my shoulder. So she dealt with me with, like, there was days when I had to take him to treatment. Like, I would work 6 a.m., get home, take him to the hospital, leave from the hospital, go home. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see the family for a week because I'm just handling that. But she was like, home was taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But she held it down. And so now, with her daughter meeting me, you know what I'm saying? Sweet little girl. What can kids do really do wrong? Spill milk? But I always looked at it like,
you're not my dad.
Funny you say that because that's always been something that, and it's still sometimes in the back of your head, right? Because as they get older, you know, girls develop and they get their own sense of personality, their own personalities and stuff like that. So growing up with her in the beginning, it was sweet. You know, they would come by me sometimes or stay by them or whatever, and we just started building that bond really, really well to the point where, like, you know, like,
you and her, you talking about you and her building that bond?
Yeah, me and my daughter building that bond because the mother allowed us to do that. Okay. So like, I end up, you know, I'm emergency contacts on her stuff. I have her, whatever. You know, if I get off work before my fiance, I'll pick her up from daycare or after school program, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So in the very beginning, it really wasn't something that was difficult. You just had to be mentally prepared to know, like, you know that you're getting in a relationship with a +1. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a surprise to you. It's not like you take your shorty out, you show up to the restaurant, and she's with her homegirl. You got to pay for 2 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're getting into. Yeah. You know, so for me, it wasn't really that difficult. Mm-hmm. And so now, raising a young lady, I have to be very meticulous and mindful with a lot of things, right? Like, I'm one, like, when I'm in the crib, like, if I don't have to have, like, a shirt on, like, I really won't. You know what I'm saying? I'm home. But you understand, like, you know, when she's 6, 7 years old, it's different versus when she's, you know, coming to her womanhood. Yeah. And, like, that's something too. Like, when she first came into her womanhood, like, I went to the store, I bought mad snacks, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I help my lady, help her celebrate that, understand, like, it's not to be demonized. Like, this is a good thing that you're learning to be a young lady. You know what I'm saying? So you can have the snacks, you can have whatever you want to feel, whatever. And she's a super sweet girl too. Like, you know, she helps my son, which is her brother. She helps out, all that kind of stuff. But I know what it is to be a young 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And like, no, like, people don't know where I stay at, but I'm from Flatbush. I'm from Junction. Like, I know
Gang
what
shit.
it's like to be outside. There you go. So
you're from Canarsie, bro.
Yo, stop fucking with me, bro. You really getting tight with that shit.
And so, like, when she started going to school by herself in, like, 7th grade, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was cool because everybody knows me outside, you know. And she started going to charter school, so she go a little further. And now she's a freshman in high school, so she stayed home for this year because of COVID and everything. But I have real conversations with her. I'm like, yo, listen, dudes is gonna say this, and this. Like, guys are gonna try everything under the sun. They're gonna do this, that, and the third. But I also understand that kids are so much smarter. I feel like she's way smarter than I was at her age. In life, because you can talk to them and they will understand, like, what you're saying. She processes what I'm telling her.
I'll say you too.
Trash, but
I'll say you too. But yeah, okay.
So it's very, as they get older, it gets easier in some ways and harder in others because it becomes more mentally challenging because it's like, where's her head at? You know, what's going on? It's cool because now she's home. She's home on sack and solitary. She ain't going nowhere. But when she is outside, she's young, she's pretty, she has nice hair. We dress her nice the same way as us. So we want to make sure that she understands what's going on outside. But I also give her real boyish ways. Like, yo, when you outside, don't be having your iPhone all out. Don't be having this, that, and the third all out. You know what I'm saying? And just doing the best that I can to school her on what it's like to be, like, how to be a young lady, but also how to keep your eye open because niggas is gonna try you. Yeah. But as soon as they do, let me know because it's over. It's over for that.
So I was talking to my cousin. Y'all watch sports? Y'all watch basketball?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So
there's a player named Jason Tatum, right? He played for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I just seen him last night. It was wilding. So he's emerging into. Yeah, he did. Of course, he definitely did. Shout out to Barry. But you know, he's a young superstar, whatever the case may be. So they did like a special on him. You feel me? And in the special, they was pretty much highlighting his mom say his mom was a single mom. She raised him. She did such a tremendous job raising him, go through school, go to the NBA, et cetera, right? And then my cousin highlighted something to me. She goes, yo, she wasn't a single mom. You feel me? She's like, she got married and the stepfather was in his life and his biological father's been in his life his entire life. They have a good relationship. You feel me? So it's kind of like, why do we kind of just use, like, do you feel that society uses relationship status to kind of deem if you a single mom or not? And is that justified? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the definition of a single mom?
Yeah, that's my thing. I never understood what a single mom is. Like, because you hear people say it, but to me, it's like, if you're a single mom, that I just feel like the father's not around in whatever, no form or fashion at all. You doing everything yourself. Yeah. Like, that's a single mom. But if the dad is there,
you're just a mom who's single.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a difference.
I think single mom is, yeah, it's just your, I think single mom, it just flows better.
I thought single mom.
I have a question real quick. Do you feel like the fact that they were sort of celebrating the story of like him coming up with a single mom, it's for like
it sound better.
It's
a
better underdog story.
Yeah, shit on the dad and how, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but look, watch this now. I'm gonna flip it now. When like LeVar Ball, that family's not.
He don't get enough credit.
But hold on,
that's a fact.
Once you get it, but look how they do that. To speak about LeVar Ball, they crucify him.
Right. He's too much.
It's a bad.
Crucify the black man.
Yeah,
he's all for his family and his boys to be the
he got
best.
3 kids to the NBA.
It might be his delivery.
That's some Black History Month shit.
That is.
Like, that's
the honor
it is his delivery. You know?
It's his delivery with what he does.
But they don't like that.
They don't like that. But at the end of the day, that's what you want him to be. I'm just so happy that my son could have made it to the NBA, son.
He was 2 years old.
That's 100% of the fact, right? So kind of like, not to digress too much.
Society, really.
Society does do that, right? Yeah. So they don't like to see upfront strong dads being vocal. They want you, they shut up and dribble. They want you to shut up, pay the bills, and mind your goddamn business. And it's whack. Because like LeVar Ball, right? Yeah, his delivery is unorthodox because y'all not used to having a strong black man tell you what time it is.
Yeah,
because he came through. Because 9
out of 10 times,
Lonzo Ball gonna be better than Michael Jordan.
Because 9 out of 10 times, if a black man is telling a white person what time it is, they feel like there's gonna be some violence or some criminal activity. No, I'm letting you know, my 3 boys gonna be in the league. They're gonna do this, and this. When they do it, they're like, yeah, I don't know.
That's why they try to villainize him. They don't want to give him the credit. It's like, I'd rather shoot him down than give him the credit. Just give the man the credit.
Give that man his credit.
He got the own brand. That shit.
He started his own.
Like you hear about like Steph Curry pops all the time. Like they be on TV fucking sucking them off because like don't get me wrong. He raised his kids well. He got 2 kids in the league or whatever case it be. But he's not.
He wasn't as vocal
out there.
He's
not. He's like you know.
But before we go any further, we have one more additional member to the conversation. Everybody clap for Miss Fleur who finally made it here.
Thank you so much, Miss Fleur.
Miss Fleur,
I'm sorry, I apologize.
A returning guest.
Returning guest, second appearance. But before we go any further, so like also you look at LeBron James, everybody highlight how his mom's, you feel me, she did what she had to do. Right. But I feel, what about like Kyrie Irving pops? You feel me? Nobody ever really talks about that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know, Kyrie Irving's mom passed when he was mad young. Like I don't know how old, but real young. His pops did what he had to do. Something in his private school, went to St. Pat's, went to Duke, first round draft pick, successful athlete, whatever the case may be. Stand up, outgoing, young individual, but nobody never really talks about that. Why we not? I'm not saying I don't got no kids, but like, why are we not really getting the same traction and attention that these mothers is getting?
Because it don't sound good on, like he said, brother man said, it don't sound good on TV.
That's some bullshit, bro.
Until you wilding out. Like you bugging out.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh look at this angry black man.
But right, look at this, right? So when Kyrie has a situation where he doesn't feel mentally ready for something, or there's a just cause. Hey, yo, what's wrong with this motherfucker? We paying you all this money. Shut up and dribble. Just go out and do it.
Like niggas don't call out of work. How dare
you? I can't make it into the
my nigga D Rose called out to see his son. D Rose didn't even call. He just disappeared.
How dare you want to be a more productive member in society and shine light on things? Shut up. What are you talking about?
It all plays back to what you said in the beginning. Mental health is just a fucking gimmick
Trendy,
right about now. It's a very trendy thing until it has to be addressed. Like I use this for example, you feel me? So you know how people are mental health plays into a lot of different aspects in life, you feel me? So one of the biggest things that I like to use is R. Kelly. Feel me? R. Kelly, do you know the story of like how R. Kelly, how he as a child, he over-sexualized his mother. You feel me? He was very overly sexualized of his mother, and he was overly sexualized, period, at a very young age. So now mentally, his mind is conditioned, warped. It's warped into young. All he knows is youth. Our great Michael Jackson never had a childhood. So mentally, he tried to recuperate everything that he had as a child
when he was like 40.
When he was an adult. You feel me? In that mindset as an adult. Now, what I'm saying is, Michael Jackson, my man, he was found not guilty. So there is no sexual allegations or any rape, and there will be no Mike Jack slander. But R. Kelly is standing trial for his shit. His shit is actually on video. Now, do we as a society say this man has a mental health issue and cope with him the same way we'll say somebody who's schizophrenic or somebody who has dementia, or do we just look at him as a straight up pedophile and rapist?
They're gonna look at him as a.
If R. Kelly wasn't R. Kelly, it would be that.
He'll be a straight up pedophile and rapist?
No. That's why don't get me wrong. I am not condoning any such way, any of his actions, but it's at the degree that it is because he's R. Kelly.
Yeah.
If R. Kelly was just
a regular person,
John who always lived at 242 Irving, it would have been like, damn, yo, we know he was fucked up. We should have said something or whatever. We know he was in the store buying these little girls.
So you're saying it's because so that's why he's being labeled. Oh, okay, wow.
No, that's why it's to the extent that it is, because if R. Kelly was a white dude out of Cincinnati, Ohio, they would have got him psychologically evaluated.
The headline would have been different.
Something's going on. But because obviously he is R. Kelly, he's been in our face as a superstar. It's like, yo, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, yo, there's money to be made in a lot of shit. So there's money to be made in getting these documentaries. Absolutely. There's money to be made in getting these victims to tell their story. There's money to be made in having these things constantly in the newspaper and the stories running and the articles and the photos and all that kind of stuff. Not to say what he did is not absolutely wrong, but there are ways that people make things look a different way because of the dollar.
But can I comment on what he said?
Yeah.
So I feel like the difference between him and a white man is if that was a regular white man from the suburbs and that happened to him, they would offer him psychological help because I feel like a white man is more willing to say, I have a mental issue. R. Kelly never said there was anything wrong with him. To this day, he's still saying there's nothing wrong with him mentally. He's still saying he didn't do anything wrong. He's still saying he's innocent. But white people, when they know they did something messed up,
I fucked up!
They do say, I was going through stuff, can you guys give me some help?
But they
R.
also
Kelly never did that. So...
But they also know that's the right thing to say though. White people not stupid. They know how to get up out that jam.
True.
Like, yo, I'm a plea, I was crazy, I was going. They know how to, because that's just in life. They learned and coached to do things like that. Us as like black people, we don't really. It's like, nah. I'm not having the defense mechanism. I'm good.
We don't have the defense mechanism because I'm sure like there are people who are from more affluential suburbia where they might be like, yo, listen, if something happens, listen. Call my dad. My dad knows somebody who knows somebody. Here, you just like, damn, man. I hope we get bail. Like, look at Khalid Browder, right? Yo, all of that for $900. You think that them white people in West Orange, wherever they at, is not gonna get this boy out of jail for free?
Go for me like this, boom.
But think about it. 900 ain't even grand larceny.
You gotta be 1,000.
It's gotta be a band. Son died over a petty larceny.
Bullshit.
I'm not even gonna call it a suicide because my son was mentally off. He got fucked up. He died off of petty larceny. For that shit is wild. So, but as a female, for what I just said, how do you feel? Would you deem that as a valid argument for everything that R. Kelly was going through? Would you accept that as a valid, like, yo, he was overly sexualized as a child? Not accept it, but like understanding.
I would understand it if he would at least admit it, but he won't even admit it. So if you can't even say, okay, yes, I do think because of things that happened to me as a child, it has affected my adulthood, then I would have some type of understanding. But to this day, he does not even admit that he has issues.
So, because you missed earlier, right? So we was talking about how men not made to be soft or express themselves. That's probably what the issue he had. Like he probably felt like
fucking R&B singer.
even though no,
He
but
a
like
lot more than that.
But that's a whole different kind of expression to say. Like take a lot of bulls are coming by, yeah, I did that, and like you know what I'm saying? No, like that's tough. You know what I'm saying? So like some people ain't got it in them to do it. Yeah. I mean, it sounds good to say it's that easy, but if you're on the side of the field and you got to actually do that to millions of people, and it's like you not ready to feel like that. But then the second part of that is like it's one thing to say that. Right? There's another thing to say it and mean it. Like if somebody would say that to get out the gym, yeah, they gonna me get off my back. I'm good. I'm backing to get out. But that's one thing. Some people just do that to get out of here. And another thing to do it and like go get the help and follow through with it 100%.
Because once you come forth with it, you actually gotta walk
that's
line.
That's it.
It is what it is. You gotta walk that line. Shit, I just saw yesterday. Remember the video I sent you about Mr. C?
Oh, that shit wild.
That was my first time ever hearing him publicly say that.
That's wild, but end of the day, I keep it a buck. It's like, I ain't watch, I saw snippets, but...
On the Biggie joint.
Nah, he talking about him like in trainees and shit. Like he spoke about it. Him and Mano, yeah. So it's like...
Before we go any further, you can't say that word, y'all. One thing you gonna learn. In this realm, don't indict yourself. We're gonna say trans with an S.
Got it. So like, but that goes back to the comment we had, like I respect him for having that conversation because black people don't want it. Nobody else will come up that openly and comfortable and speak about that. But it's like, do we demonize him or like look down on him for doing that? Because he's owning what he's saying. That's what I did.
I'm not gonna lie.
To me, it's wild. It's like, to me, it's wild. But
I'm at a crossroad with it.
On the flip side, like as a man looking at it, like he living his truth. He don't care
now.
Yeah, it's like but he
never denied it.
It's like, but here's the thing. It's like, do we still give him the?
He said he was.
Do you give him respect because he's speaking about because he got caught? Or would he get respect if he just came out and openly said it? You know what I mean? It's another thing when you get caught with your hand in a jar.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
But then again, it's like only give the respect if you know about it, and if only way I know about it if you get caught.
To be honest,
I didn't know about
it's none of our business.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it.
It's just I'm talking about point blank. Period. It's none of our business. What your sexual preferences is between you and the person you're having that sexual preference with.
And God.
You feel me? And God. You feel me? Now the problem that would
drink this shit.
The problem that may be is are you misleading other people with your actions? Are you misleading other people with
now you want to take this tape.
What what's up, yo? This motherfucker. You gotta play a devil's advocate in life.
You's a motherfucker.
Are you misleading? Are you misleading other? Are you misleading women? Was he married?
Who?
I don't know.
Mr. C, does he have kids?
I don't know nothing about Mr. C.
I can't even tell you.
But then again, it's like
because at the end of the day, I'm sorry to cut you off. It's still Mr. C. It may not be relevant now, but goddamn it, in the '90s, nigga, that's the nigga who found Big, bro. Come on.
Well, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's sexual
So wait,
preference.
so him and Mano said they think?
No.
He said Mano.
He was on Mano's podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
shit. Only he's about that.
I was about to never walk down gates of Notion again in my life.
I almost dropped my motherfucking phone case.
Mano, we didn't say you. It was on his podcast. It was on his podcast.
Because I was about to say, I didn't hear that at all.
No. We didn't hear it either. Mano is not with the shits.
But what you saying?
So on our show, right? So you said you played devil's advocate, right? So we have this thing where we play devil's prosecutor, right?
I like the sound of that.
Copyright.
So that shit.
So
pick a side, nigga.
I feel as though when you decide that you want to become a public figure,
okay, right,
and you want to put your when you become a public figure, you put your life out there, right? It's very hard to say, okay, I want this part out only, and I don't want to talk about this and this, that, and the third. When you put yourself out there for as long as you have been out there, when your business is out there, it's there for everybody to see. Nobody can judge you but God. But at the end of the day, you've portrayed out all of these things and done all of these things. So now everything's out on the table from everybody who's always been supporting you. You cannot feel no kind of way when people look at it and be like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna be mad at something that you're doing in front of everybody when all your whole life for the last 30 years has been out in front of everybody?
Mm-hmm.
But then he might not care.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He really, honestly, doesn't have to care.
Yeah,
but for people to say, "Oh, well, you have no right to say anything," but could we have said anything if, say, if it was the other foot? Say Jay Leno was like, he loved gangster music and he always bought people's albums and hosted their parties, but he liked saying the word nigger. It's like you find that out 30 years later. He everywhere he go, every party he hosted, he say nigga, 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 nigga. You're not gonna say something, or we can't say nothing now because everybody was like, whatever. No, you can't pick and choose that. It's not fair.
Yeah,
and you
people
can't
got
do
their
that
favorite.
role.
They pick and choose who they want to judge, and that's why that whole like cancel and all that stuff. It just to me that's just a joke.
Cancel culture
That's a joke. That's just some social media BS that people made up.
Yo, they cancel Gucci, whatever.
No, you can't cancel nobody.
They cancel Gucci to the stimulus checks came, and it was over.
Look, let me tell you when to cancel somebody what to do. Just don't mess with them. Don't speak about it. Just pay them no mind. Leave them alone. But y'all speaking up, saying you cancel them, you giving them more exposure and clout.
Now niggas want to know why you canceling them.
So now they're like, hold on, what song did he have? Now they on iTunes. Now you 20,000 albums, and now he's gold.
Like, we ran up the streams on the nigga.
But listen, so I bought Miss Fleur here for a reason, right? So here, one thing that I like to do, that I try to do moving forward, is I try to give people their roses while they can still smell them. And this also kind of objectively relates into what we're talking about. So me and Miss Fleur were friends, right? So I know a decent small portion of, how you was brought up and stuff like that. But I do know you were a product of like a single dad. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like you have a lot going on for yourself. You're doing really well. So I just wanted to clap it up for Miss Fleur, who's a outstanding young lady. But I wanted you to kind of share, if you don't mind, share with the people about exactly how you were brought up. Because when I think about how I wanted my daughter to probably be raised, if I was to have one, in a small way or in a lot of ways, is a lot of qualities that you have and a lot of like the way you think and the way that you go about things. I would probably want my daughter to also put into the atmosphere as well. So I wanted you to, if you were okay with it, just share a small little snippet of how you were brought up and where you're at in this day and age, and also the ins and outs of things that you probably seen your dad had to do. That you're like, damn, like looking back, like shit, I know that was probably hard especially dealing with you because you a wild nigga, especially dealing with you, because it's not like we were talking about earlier. It's not easy for a man to really raise a woman, especially by himself. So I want you to dive into that for a little bit.
Especially if you're crazy.
At least you said it. I did it.
No, I'm talking about he crazy.
Oh, I thought you meant you.
My father crazy.
Well, shit, I see where you get it from.
Shut up. So, I grew up with my father. My mother was alive. She was around, but like in and out. So she was a drug addict. So sometimes she would be home, sometimes she wouldn't, Sometimes my father would be at work and she's supposed to be with us, but she'll leave or, stuff like that. And him being a single father, it was a little bit different because it wasn't even like it was just me. He raised 4 of my siblings. So it was a little rough because my father was an immigrant. He came from Barbados and then he came to America, trying to make a living for himself. And I would say we were pretty much poor growing up. Like we had nights where all we had to eat was bread and peanut butter, because it's one thing for you to try to take care of kids all by yourself, but it's another thing when you live with somebody who's like, a drug addict. Drug addicts steal from you. They sell your things. So stuff go missing all the time.
Question: Were all your siblings? These are all your dad's children as well?
Yeah, I don't have no half siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but only 4 of us live with him.
That's a lot still.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I went through growing up, and it was a little weird because a lot of people saw me and they just assumed like, okay, you have one parent, and they would think that the one parent is my mother. And then when I tell them that it's my father, they would get shocked. There would be, mother-daughter dances and stuff like that. And I would either not go to it or I would ask my father to come because I didn't have my mother there. But a lot of people, they feel like when I talk about it, that it makes me emotional. It doesn't make me emotional, honestly. I don't know if it's because I'm just not a naturally affectionate person. I would say I'm not naturally affectionate because of my father. He wasn't naturally affectionate. He didn't call me princess. He didn't call me baby. He didn't really say I love you like that. He didn't give me hugs and kisses. But I knew he loved me because he took care of me. He did what he had to do. Honestly, now that I'm an adult, he got a little bit more affectionate. Like now he'll say baby sometimes. Mm-hmm. He'll give me hugs now. But when I was younger, he didn't do none of that stuff.
He learned on the fly.
Do you really feel like he even had the it's gonna sound wild to say this, but the time to even show you that?
No, he didn't. He worked a lot.
I'm not even only talking about working also. I'm talking about mental time. Like to have that mental break to even, I gotta deal with a spouse who's on drugs. I got 4 kids. I have 4 mouths to feed. And then don't
5
forget,
including you.
5 including him. I'm also an immigrant. I'm trying to have everything situated. Where the fuck do I find the time to love anybody? To be honest, there's a lot of things that I look back in my past that I had to deal with my mother that now it all makes sense. Like, did she even have the time?
Now that you're older.
Now that you're older, it's like, my mother, you trying to do this with your child, but you're going through the middle of a fucking divorce. Like, how much love can you expect somebody? We have a hard time with trying to be good friends to people, and we just going through a breakup. He got 4 mouths to feed and deal with that heartache.
5.
Excuse me, 5. You see, every time I keep saying fuck him, and that's exactly what the world is telling me. That's the mentality that the world is telling me. Fuck him. So, do you have a whole different perspective?
Completely
looking
different.
I'm not only speaking for him. I'm speaking for looking at men. How do you look at men? How do you treat men? Do you not take any excuses from what men, like any excuses from men, period? Are you a little bit more lenient on men when it comes to their feelings or what could be, the troubles or the stresses that you can cause on them or anything like that?
I would say now that I'm older and I could see the bigger picture of like my father's love for me, because some people feel like if you don't show affection, then that person doesn't love you. But I feel like because I understand that was my father's way of showing his love, when I date men that struggle with affection like me, I understand it. I don't just think, oh, he doesn't like me because he doesn't, do certain lovey-dovey things. There's some men who they might invest into your business, but they might not, be super affectionate and show PDA in public. But they'll hold you down. They'll make sure that you are good with your career. They'll support you. They'll go to all your events, but they might not be the person that will say, I love you every day. They might say, I love you on special occasions, but so.
Shoot a text.
But that's something we touched on our podcast. It was a part of learning your partner's love language.
Yes.
So what are the things that you may think that you like, the other person may not like that. You may be into like fashion and stuff like this. You may have the guy that plays into video games. You buy him some good J's or some good designer shoes.
He don't care for that.
He don't care for that. He
Why
just
you
wants
selling me like this, bro? You're selling
Call of Duty.
My shorty don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you may be doing that, but it's like, but once you find the love language between each other, it's just a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? You can't like you like I know women say a lot. I know how I should be loved. Like, I know things like that, but it's still like, do you know how to love somebody else? How they want to be loved?
That's true.
We have a bad habit of loving people the way that we want to love them.
Exactly.
And that's the way that
And that's what I talked about on the show, right? So people have this thing where, like, I know what my love languages are, right? So I expect how I am to be reciprocated. That's not true. It's not fair.
That's kind of
and I look at that like that's how I run my whole life, right? Like I don't put no expectations on people because now I'm saying you like this. I'm telling this bottle of water you need to be a bottle of champagne because that's what I expect out of you. So when it shows up as the bottle of water, I'm mad at the bottle of water for being a bottle of water. You can't be mad at people for being who they are. You got to accept them for what they are. And if you have a conversation about if it's not what works for you, people can adjust. But you can't off-rip that, hey, listen, you got to be this. And if you're not this, then, you know, it's not that because you're putting your expectations on them.
So you being not affectionate in relation, you say you're not an affectionate person. What if you come across a guy who is affectionate? Very affectionate. How do you reciprocate that? How do you How do you challenge that, or how do you like?
I have, and I felt like we clashed because he felt like I didn't like him like that because I wasn't like super on him, and I just used to tell him I do like you. It's just I'm not like you. I don't need to do all that. I don't know.
So now dealing with this kind of person, right? Have you ever had like a real conversation? Yo, listen, like I'm not like that because like growing up, I ain't have the time for it, or I was hardened because of the situation.
Now that no, I just said I'm not naturally affectionate, but I didn't get into details.
Somebody hear that naturally affected and she don't like me.
It's kind of when the shorty be like, I only do this for you. It's like,
yeah, it's
Now,
I mean, okay, but.
Yeah, that conversation like that got to be said sometime.
And not to say that you owe that conversation to every guy.
Hell no.
But if you feel that connection or whatever, he might be like, he might understand. He might feel like he needs to be overly affectionate because you aren't, and to bring it out of you. But you might not be that way. So now he doesn't.
But there's a kicker though. He could do that, but the main part about him doing that, she got to accept it.
Right.
He can do it, and she cannot accept it. And it's like, yo, this nigga bugging. Like,
I don't like. I'm not. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. Like I like affection. Like honestly, I like dating men that are affectionate because I know that I sometimes struggle taking the initiative. So I love when I find a man that's like super affectionate with me. It's just I feel like whoever I date got to be patient and know that I'm not gonna just like hug up on you so fast and kiss up on you in public like that and call you baby right away. Like that takes a while for me to do that. So, but I like when they do it.
If she don't call me,
it makes me feel
babe.
like I can speed up the process. You know.
Oh.
Like if you, because I've dated somebody that was just as like not affectionate as me, and I just felt like, well, damn, we going at a slow pace. Like, anybody gonna make the move? Like, okay.
If you don't call me babe by the second text
I'm
message,
not gonna hold your hand. So I need you to hold my
like
hand first because I'm not gonna hold your hand first. So what are we doing? Like,
so I want to dive into something, right? So I want everybody to think about this as well. So you have friends. We all have friends. For the most part, most people are raised. If they don't have two parents, the primary parent is usually the mom, right? So I want all y'all to think about this, but you specifically. So you were raised by your dad. You have any friends that were just raised by just their mother? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So close friends?
Yeah.
So you've had a close, detailed view as of what it is like to be raised by a single dad, and then what it's like to be raised by a single mom. What are the difference, or maybe like the pros and like what are some benefits you probably will see by being raised by a primary dad versus a primary mom, and vice versa?
All right, let me start real quick. Me, I feel just a support in anything because you got two supporters. Like two is always better than one. Mm-hmm. And personally in my life, I felt like I didn't go to college. I did like community college, but I feel like I didn't have that support to go away to college to get that support. I had some friends with the college. They family, like both his mother and father's dead, and they had that support where they could go to college and like not work or like just go to college and focus on school. Mm-hmm. And I felt if I had that support, maybe I would have considered going, because out of high school, I was working in high school. So me, it was just on somebody, you in the real world. It's like that college shit is over. Mm-hmm. And while I tried to go to college and I started going, I started to work still and do this, and I'm trying to party and I'm doing all this, and I'm like, yo, school, I'm like, it's college, I don't really need this shit. Like it's like I'm good. But if I had that support, I felt like I probably would have helped. You know what I'm saying? That just as far as like entering adulthood. But prior to that, the pros and the cons. How would I say this?
Yeah, like if you was raised by just a dad and just a mom, like what are some benefits? Like what's something the kid's probably gonna get from being raised by just a dad?
But
they probably wouldn't get.
It all depends on the kid though, because like in the environment, because like if like a dad, like depend on the dad, because dad are gonna be super strict or like not. But it depends if you're a boy or a girl. If you're a boy, like dad tend to be a little more lenient, is whatever. If you're a girl, it's more protective. No, this follows a mom. So like if you're a mom, your mom gonna be more loving. You're a boy, Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like for a boy, I'd say it would be easier to just be with your dad, because your dad probably wouldn't care. Yeah. Like as much as like depending on the kid though, like because there's kids in suburban areas that grow up and it's like they would hate going with their dad. It's like I'm gonna stay with my mom. You know what I'm saying? But like me, like see, I can't even say which one I prefer because I didn't really stay with my dad. Yeah. But my mom did a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like if I had a dad there, it would have been like...
You would have been an elite nigga.
Yeah, it would have been lit. Like,
I'd have been super saiyan.
I would have had time to experience life how... Because I didn't, like... growing up also, like, I ain't take no family vacations with my mom. Like, that was a thing. I know people who did. They every summer they going away. I'm saying, like, damn, I'm in the hood.
Must be nice.
I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it took me to my adulthood to start experiencing that kind of stuff on my own. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's beneficial. And that's why now I have a child now. I make it my duty now to make sure that he experiences a lot of stuff that I haven't.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Which makes sense.
It's funny you say that when you said the part where you said if you felt like you had both parents growing up, just felt like life would have just been like, because your mom did such a good job, you feel like life would have just been over the max. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To counter that, you feel me? For the most part, me and my father's relationship growing up, there were times, sometimes I sit down and I tell myself, and I'll say to people, some people would rather grow up with no father than a deadbeat father. Mm. You feel me? There's a difference between having no dad at all and not know who he is or having somebody who can be right there and does nothing at all. Not saying that's what my father was, but there's rocky moments in me and my father's relationship in my life. You feel me? Where you'll sit there and you'll be like, my nigga, I'd have just been better off if I just ain't fucking know you.
Like, you can't miss what you never had.
You feel me? Mm-hmm. It's just definitely, you can't miss what you never had. It's like, damn, bro, like, you have the opportunity to do what you gotta really do, and you just ain't doing it, cuz, like, what's really going on? So, I don't know. I know how I would have grown up. If I would have grown up with my father, Jesus Christ, I'd have probably been in the fucking military or some shit like that. Like, my father, to be honest, my pops is probably one of the coolest dudes I ever met in my life. My pops is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. But my father is one of the people who has mental issues, who did not get treatment for it, and now it's embedded in him. Mm. You feel me? This is who he is now, and there's no fucking changing that. You feel me? So his mental issues projected onto me. You feel me? It got projected onto me, and I had to deal with the burden of it all because it was more so like a prey on the wheat thing. You feel me? And I always looked for that Excuse me, I won't even say I always look for it. You want to be cool with your pops, you feel me? So you'll do anything. I'm a Cancer, so I'm a people pleaser. I want to appease my father, you feel me? So everything that I do, everything that I would want to do would be to try to appease him or make him happy, and nothing makes my father happy. Mm-hmm. Nothing makes my father sad. You bring home a 99, why the fuck did you bring home 100? And people say that shit as a joke, but it was really what happened to the one type of situations, you feel me? So damn, I just lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, so me trying to appease him, you feel me? And my sister wasn't like that. My sister was the firecracker. She was the defiant one. Mm. So being that she's the defiant one, it's like, I know this nigga good. No matter what I fucking do, he gonna love me. But this one right here, if I say the wrong word, she'll love me today, hate me tomorrow. So I gotta work on keeping this one happy. Fuck him, he gonna be good. Mm. But I gotta work on keeping this one happy. And that's kind of like, that's more so like the relationship my father was. My mother was I spoke about this before. My mother's dope as fuck, you feel me? But the only problem that I had with my mother is my mother never took really any interest in like my dating life. Like when it came to women and things like that, she never really cared about shit like that. Like my mother was really all about like, nigga, get your money. You feel me? Like, focus on your money. And for some reason, she might be getting mad when she hear this. Like, I feel like that kind of probably stems, she probably got sidetracked on her goals in life with having a family and being married at a young age, that she probably didn't get to focus fully on getting everything done that she wanted in her life. And she didn't want to see me go down that route, chasing love or anything like that. To the point, like, it's literally tatted on me, you feel me? Like, layman's terms, I got money over bitches tatted on me, you feel me? And I became so hell-bent on money, like, it's like, I'm a very affectionate person and I love women, but where's that, to what extent, you feel me? Like, am I that eager to just, like, when it comes to the bread, am I eager to just, it's up and go time? Mm-hmm. It's over you at all times, you feel me? And
question for you, do you feel like the reason why your mom was so like, yo, just get your pockets right, don't worry about women, because she felt like maybe she's seen whatever happened with her relationship with your father that transcended from that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I think she kind of probably got sidetracked en route to her goals, being married young, having kids young. You feel me? Because my parents were, what was the moment? They were together since 16. I think they got married at 20, bought a house at 21, had me at 22. You feel me?
That's like,
it was like
that's
boom.
a lot. That's a lot.
You feel me? Bought a house. Yeah, married at. I think it was married at 20. Bought a house at 21. Had me at 22. I think that's how the story goes. You feel me? So like you said, I think there might have been somewhere along that road where she probably didn't get to fulfill all her dreams, and it's like she's never taken an interest in my love life, like really spoken to me like really about like women and love. Like I remember we was laughing about it the other day. I remember the first time I got my heart broken, and I was like, yo ma, like what do you do when you get your heart broken? Boy, I was on 55th and Avenue and Flatlands Avenue. She stopped at a stop sign, looked back and said, nigga, you ain't in no. She basically told me, nigga, you ain't in love. You feel me? You too young for love. Focus on your money. I'm like 8. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. I'm like,
damn,
bitch, the fuck? You feel me? And from that day on, I've just been stone cold with it. But
it's like I'm not gonna tell her nothing.
It was just like I don't, and she's never like really taken an interest in like females or dating life or things that are coming up. So you know, like it'd be your mom to be very nurturing when it comes to like, so who you dating? Like, are you having kids? You plan on having kids? Plan on getting back? That's my father. My father's on my line heavy for grandchildren. Mind you, little nigga got kids who could damn near be his grandkids, but he pressuring me for kids. You feel me? He got a grandson. My sister had a baby. You feel me? But he on my line for kids. My mother is comfortable with nigga as long as you're happy. If you have no kids, if you have no marriage, whatever makes you happy, you do you. And I feel like at a certain point in time in my life that kind of stifled me because it was like, damn, like. I always wanted that relationship, that bond between my mother and my girl, but is my mom even going to take that initiative? And I thank God to her listening to this podcast and us having these conversations. My dating life now, like my mom's is dead ass very proactive with it. Like she asks a lot of questions. She's very interested. She's intrigued. She wants to meet the girl. She wants to hang out with the girl. I'm like, and I'm not one of those people. Sometimes I could be defensive where it's like, nah, nigga, now you want to come around and do that shit. But I've become open to it. It's I'm not going to knock you for trying it because this is what I want. This is what I've always wanted.
I have a 2-part question, right? So do you feel like she's like that now because she feels like you're at a point where even if you do get with a shorty, anything happens or whatever, like you're mentally and financially going to be able to hold it down?
To handle it.
Nah, I don't think that. I think she's just realized like what that might have done for what that could have possibly done to me because we've talked a lot about mental health. We've done a lot of bonding over listening to the podcast. You feel me? Like listening to podcasts and talking about mental health and stuff like that. So she's now understanding the psych. She had to be a mom. My mom's deadass had to be a single mother. She had to raise 2 kids. You feel me? So that's why I said I forgot who was I talking to. You feel me? It's like did you understand what your father was going through for him to even sit down and did he even have the time to properly love me? You feel me? So now it's like I'm older and my mom has to sit down and now we have more resources. It's like, oh, I was raising a son and I wasn't doing this. I was raising a son and I wasn't doing that. I should have did this different. I should have did that different. But I have a receptive son. So he may not be 12 years old anymore. He may not be 13 years old anymore. But he's receptive, so I can talk to him and bring it to him now. And my mother does a great job at bringing it to me now. She's gung-ho with this shit. Like, she sends me videos nonstop every day, different podcasts to listen to about mental health, understanding me, getting to know me and stuff like that. We have a greater line of communication. And my mom's is really not even my mother. My mother's really like my best friend to me, you feel me? On some shit. Like, I have one of those moms where I could really chill with my moms, like on some, and people think that we're brother and sister. But that's really my mother, you feel me?
Hold on. I don't think that you got away. I hope you got an answer. I see you over there drifting away.
I got
my second part question was gonna.
Yeah, I was say don't.
Is it the same for you on that side of the coin as it is?
Because you like to play tricky. I see you.
Go ahead, cut me off. Go ahead, go straight to that.
Well, I just remember him asking for pros and cons. I was going to answer that.
So
I would say, well, obviously I didn't really have like my mother in my life study But seeing like my other friends with their mothers, I would say the pro of having a mother is being able to talk about boys. I never had that when I was with my father. I couldn't talk about boys. I couldn't talk about sex, all that stuff. In fact, he made me feel like the minute I have sex the first time, like I was just gonna get pregnant right away. But
as he should. Just kidding.
But I will say a pro with growing up with a father is that, well, this is what I think. I could be wrong, but I feel like every girl that grew up with their father does not have daddy issues. And the reason why I feel like that is because my other friends that grew up with their father, like we have the same perspective when it comes to certain things in men. And then I have friends that grew up with just their mother and they had deadbeat fathers. And the stuff that they accept and the stuff that they allow over and over and over again, me and my friends that had our father, is like, after the second strike, you're out. Like, it's just, we're done. And, yeah, I just feel like, honestly, I'm not trying to be shady or nothing, but I feel like if you have a father, you technically have both. I feel like if you have a mother, you don't really have both, because I feel like a father could give you both what the mother and father could have given you, but a mother cannot do that.
I don't think so.
Why you say that? I want to know why you say that.
I don't think so. I just think that women are just more emotionally ready to take on the commitment of a child by themselves.
But that's the thing; they too emotional to the point where they don't make you. They make you feel.
I'm just saying the sense of like example, like, you know, because single moms is a big thing. They do their thing. Fathers get under shadow and stuff like that. But I just think women will hold it down just better overall. I'm not down on the fathers. It's just more of a man and woman thing. Like, men tend to not care or show the emotions that's probably needed for a kid.
But let me ask you this. If that's true, how come you never hear people saying, oh, you got mommy issues? Why they always say daddy issues?
Because
I
that's what
have
society...
never heard somebody say you got mommy issues.
Exactly.
You talk about when you're a mama's boy, that's mama's issues.
I think there's two parts to that, right? The reason why you almost never hear, oh, you got mommy issues, is because a lot of times it's like almost a known thing, like daughters and mothers clash, right? So it becomes like a systemic thing, like, oh, we just know that always happens. And if a son has issues with his mother, like we talked about earlier before, right? Like, men aren't in a position to allow them to be vulnerable about something. And especially about the person who gave birth to you. But you're going to say, oh, my mom died. You're like, nah, listen, that's my mom. At the end of the day, I'm going to hold it down. So I think that's why it isn't ever really projected out there. But I feel like a lot of men's issues stem from situations or issues that they have with their mothers. A lot of women who happen to be single women raising their children, single mothers, either they are super hard on their sons to make sure that their son doesn't turn out to be the kind of man that their father, who they are no longer in a relationship is with, or they try to make them like their son/man. And now when they out in the streets and living their life, the man is now looking for a woman to be his mother versus to be with him. So that's why I feel like it's not really ever really spoken on like that.
That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, but just in general, like the father, like this in life, like right now, like the mother is the primary caretaker of a child. And to me, and it's only because she gives the birth. To me, that's just like, who made the rule to say that? You know, because there's some moms that's not physically and mentally fit to take care of the child at that moment, and the father may be, because he didn't experience the pregnancy. He may just be ready, like, oh, like the baby here, all right, cool, let's go. You know, like it's like fuck everything else that just happened the last 9-10 months. Like I'm good. I'm good. My mind clear. I'm what we gotta do. You know, like, so it's just overall, like in society and like just like the world, how they view this mothers and like fathers is like they like you mainly hear mothers getting the father child support, stuff like that. But it's like when a guy trying to do it, it's like it get frowned upon. When it's like, yo, I'm struggling out here.
Yo,
I
real
need help.
shit.
I need help. Why?
I'm not gonna lie, that's true. Because when I was younger, I used to always think like, I always hear my friends saying that their father's on child support, and I used to be like, well, my mother should be on child support. She don't do nothing. Why she not on child?
But that's not common.
My father just never did that.
But also like being a father, single father, you got kids. Like, how many fathers gonna go get on welfare? How many fathers are getting WIC? Who, like, that's not a thing.
Is it women and something children? Women infants and children?
Exactly.
I think so. Wait, is it? It's not women, right?
Yeah, so it's like it's like the men. It's like the world don't even give the men that support.
You're not even allowed to be broke.
Yeah, it's like,
but that goes into But that goes into the whole like, you know, the caveated episode, right? In terms of like stereotypes, right? So like, there could be a guy who's making, you know, $8 an hour, and he got 2 kids, and like something happened, and the mother's like just not out the picture now for whatever reason, and so he's looking at like, yo, like society look at me like I'm a loser if I go and I get help. So I have to work. I'd rather work 3 jobs and never be home, and the kids and the lights is on and the bills is paid, rather than I go and I get some help. And that's messed up.
It's messed up.
It's messed up. You got people who don't even need it, and they're in the food stand spot selling it half off.
Yo, what up?
And he's looking crazy because he's in the office trying to go get help. What was the Will Smith joint with the dumb afro? He had a son.
With the son.
So you look at certain situations like that, right? So obviously it's for Hollywood and things, but it's based on a true story. It's like there's men who do got to deal with stuff like that, right? But it's demonized like, yo, like what? You bugging, bro. What you mean? You might as well you got to get it together. But it's like, no, like sometimes life hits you in the face so hard, but these stereotypes that people allow to dictate what happens to them, it becomes too much. It becomes a the world on their shoulders, and they really don't have to. Like, you can go get help. There's programs available, but people make it look like you're
like you too soft. You can't do it, and that's messed up. Like that's messed up. It's like if you need it, go get it.
Body, nigga.
If you need it, go get it.
So
I want to eat crab legs every week too.
So hold on. So I got something to say in reference to what you said, right? So I seen a tweet today. It's coincidentally came at the perfect time. So it was a Cash App notification for 2 bands. And then, you seen it, right? You know, I'm like, all right, boom. So Shorty goes, let me go ahead and throw this out there because I've been seeing a lot of shade. I break my kid's father off every year for our kids around tax time. He may get on my nerve and I can't stand him, but at the end of the day, he's an amazing daddy. Pause. You got to do good to get good. I will always have his back as long as he does right by our kids. Right? So I felt that was a really kind gesture. But bro, when I went to the comment on this shit, bro,
I seen that.
Babe, what is
I
that?
saw it on Twitter.
I
The comments
was
they bashing her.
For starters,
They bashing her.
Shorty said, my child's father's an active dad, yes, but these are reparations. Fuck him and everybody who agrees with this post. I'm like,
So like, really, my take on that, I don't feel there's nothing wrong with that. Because if ideally, regardless of what you have against him personally, like relationship wise, it didn't work out, or whatever he's doing, if he's there for them kids, acknowledge that. And sometimes men need that acknowledgement. Like yo, I'm busting. Like sometimes
tell me I got it.
If I got it, then tell me I got it.
Nobody says, yo, everybody likes that pat on the back once in a blue moon.
You need that.
You want it, you're doing a good job, bro.
I wish whoever made that post was here. I have a question for them. Right? If the situation, right, all things being fair, she says she has a good relationship with the father of her children. If it's a 50-50, it's 50-50 joint custody. We split everything. I mean, it's not even 50-50. I'm sure he's giving more than 50. Yeah. Right? Takes care of himself and whatever situation he got going on. Takes care of the kids. I'm sure he's doing right by her and all that kind of stuff. If she's bringing home $12,000 from taxes, and
niggas bring home $12,000 from taxes sometimes.
If she's bringing home, say she brings home 12.
You got
right?
a few kids.
People with kids bring
you might
home
bring back 20. You
money.
might bring back 20.
20 what?
You may make 20 bands.
For how many kids?
You want the
It
kill
depends.
wheels,
It depends.
You could have been living.
You know what I mean? So
I was playing kids fighting.
and I'm just throwing that number out just for argument's sake, right? It's 12 bands, and she gives him 2, right? Is the argument still valid that like, yo, it's fair that he's only getting the 2?
Hell no.
And he's not claiming them kids, so you know he's not claiming them kids. So his taxes on his checks is way crazy, and he's still doing all of that stuff.
But it's my thing though. It will be more on. It will get more detailed and complex on like the relationship and what's going on.
Right.
Because he that 2, he may just be like, yo, whatever. I take the 2 because this 2 is for me though, and the rest, as long as you take care, I take care for the kids. With the rest, I don't care.
My man,
like, I don't care.
My man, because me, if I was in that situation, I would have seen the 2.
I'm taking
I want at least 4.
I ain't gonna hold you. If I was in that situation and we have a nigga relationship and she would have handed me 2, I'd have probably just take care of something real quick and I would have just used that money back for the kids anyway.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, but the bread that she's keeping, like, all right.
No, I'm just saying.
Make sure you rotate that back.
These are my reparations
Into the kids. You feel me? Like, don't think you're about to go buy some
I would just say that for argument's sake because people, and I'm pretty sure the majority of people who's flaming Shorty is gonna be other females. Like, yo, you bugging? Why would you ever do that? That's also when I'm like, that's when the stereotype is like, yo, like it's not that me and the lady relationship didn't work romantically. that have no bearing on me being a great father for my children.
That's true.
So
you can
now,
tell who's better.
right? So now I'm doing right by him. We good. We could be cool friends. I might hook them up with the new person that they with. But now, because of societal rules and stereotypes, like you can't manage it right properly or whatever. You got people in the comments bashing, doing that kind of stuff, and those are those same people in those comments who are running through the courts, fighting, holding their kids as pawns. Like, you can't see your kids unless you give me $100 for my hair. Like, stuff like that. And it's crazy.
Oh, some of them don't even got kids, probably.
I'm dead.
I'm not gonna lie, and it's something I can say. Something I can say that I learned because I'm fairly new father. So I'm a new father. There's a lot that I didn't know about that I had opinion on prior to being a father. That now I'm like, damn, that was kind of stupid. I was bugging. Why did I say that? And it's kind of, it's really.
Like, you trying to say you was in the wrong.
Yeah, I was definitely wrong on a few things.
Did you ever admit it to her?
No, it's in general, not like to somebody particular. This in general, like I might tweet some bullshit, say some dumb shit. I'm like, that was stupid. Like, why did I say that?
Thank God Twitter don't got anniversary tweets.
So but I feel like sometimes in life you won't know like the real deal until you start dealing with it. Then life will hit you a little different. Like, damn, I got a kid now, so like people. Let me think of one. Like, let me get a good example. Like, we talked yesterday, right, about. On our podcast about I saw people talk about. It was a tweet I saw that a girl was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna raise my kid in the 21st century generation where they all in the kids are into their phones and tablets and stuff like that." At a point, I was one of those people that was like, "Nah, my kid gonna do this, to that. I want to be in books, stuff like that." Now I got a kid. That tablet and stuff. It's nothing wrong with it. But also that I seen with my son, we give him some amount of time on it. We don't let him get too addictive to it where he feels he needs to go the whole day. He gets it, but it's educational stuff. We get it. My son is really smart. Where he get anybody phone on his table. You give him his phone. Got Netflix on your phone. He can find Netflix.
Yo. Stop sleeping on these kids,
He can find
bro.
Netflix. He know how to press the kid section. He's 1.5. He can find Netflix, press the kid option, and stroll up the Cocomelon and click it. Literally turn the phone over like this, and he's good.
My nephew was literally skipping ads.
Say on the phone, and a text message come up, he'll flip it up. Like, and to me, but to me, like, it's like people's like, don't give the now. I now I'm on the other side now. He got that. I start seeing how fast advanced he's learning and doing things because like he understands a lot.
Don't be people who say that dumb shit. Don't be one of them motherfuckers who Patrice O'Neal made a joke about that shit. R.I.P. Patrice O'Neal. He was like, we used to laugh at all the guys who was in typing class. He was like, oh, them niggas is gay. You look at this nigga going to typing school. He said until I got to a job, and I'm like, He's like, damn, and I'm sitting there laughing I was laughing at the mother who was going to typing class, and now look at my stupid ass. Don't get fucked up and get lost in the times because this is where the world is going.
So it's like now take it like the whole phone thing and tablet thing. Like now the whole COVID thing, these kids are doing remote learning, and a lot of kids being they were showing the book. Some kids cannot have the attention span to sit there and learn and do something remotely.
Some parents can't help them screenshot.
Can't even do it.
Bro,
they can't do
you know what I'm saying? So
give me a book to read on the phone. It's over. I cannot read an audio. I can't do no audio book. I can't do no books on the phone. I can't even read the Bible on the phone. I need everything manual because that's what my body is accustomed to. I can't read a phone. I can't read a book on the phone because I'll get too distracted. I'll get too sidetracked. You feel me? I wasn't trained for that. I didn't have anything electronically to do that. So now when you say that, I'm thinking about it like, oh shit, now I realize why there's a lot of things that I cannot do on the phone is because I wasn't, that's not how I was raised. I'm not technology savvy with that shit like that. My mind isn't trained for that, but this is where the world is going now. This is where everything is going. Everything is, all the things that we know of the past are literally dying arts to the point where when magazines one day will eventually be extinct.
That shit is.
And you gotta like you have to be a good enough parent and understand that and like foster that for your kids, right? Like coding. Like my daughter had in charge of like they had coding classes and stuff like that because. Like that's the way of the future. Like that's where it is. Like how many people we know was sitting at home making millions of dollars off of this? Like you don't need to be, like don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with blue collar work and whatever, but you gotta understand as a parent, like, yo, you gotta see where it's going, and you gotta kind of get with the times, you know.
Absolutely.
You gotta learn that stuff, and you can't be looking at it like, oh, like our parents is like, we're not gonna do that or whatever. Like, no, you have to, because there's no going back to this stuff. There's no reverse to it. There's no, we're going back to what pre-COVID. No, everything's gonna be how COVID is, and then after that. So you gotta adapt and move accordingly and be ahead of the game, and you owe it to your children to help them get ahead of the curve and be there with them. So this new math and all that kind of stuff, if you got to go on YouTube and learn it to help them, then do that. YouTube, I might not even have to send my kids to college.
That's
on YouTube and get a degree.
Now, that's a problem, I think, like...
I don't know how they got new math, though.
But that's a problem I think people, like parents have, is that they don't want to take the time and teach their kid some new things, new traits. They rather rely on the school system or them to learn it somewhere else. When it's like, yes, they can, but it's also your duty to help teach them there's certain things also. It makes it easy. You make time.
It's the time.
You gotta make time.
Feel sometimes they're just afraid of like, what if I don't know it?
Yeah, you make time for things you want.
You feel like it's like a pride thing also.
A lot of it is 100%.
Yeah,
damn, my dad's stupid as shit.
Being uncomfortable too.
Yeah,
certain technology makes them uncomfortable. Like they don't understand it, so they don't like it. You know.
So speaking of that, so I know, like, you know, we mentioned, you know, you had was raised by just your father. So what are things that your father couldn't teach you, or maybe, you know, he was afraid to because you were a young lady, aside from, like, you know, the sex or whatever case may be, but just like lessons learned that you think that you missed out on?
As a man, or you mean like him being older and just not understanding
both,
the times?
bro. It could be as a man as well, because sometimes a man doesn't really know how to maneuver with a young lady, and so there are lessons that he might just be like, his pride won't let him really get to that point to want to show you.
I wouldn't say this is him being a man. I think it's more so him just being older. It took him a really long time to respect my career. You know, he was just in a time where it's either you're gonna be a nurse, a doctor, or a lawyer, and I didn't want to be neither of those things. And he just didn't understand, like, what do you mean? Like, how can you make money off of social media? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's not a job. So it took him a long time to understand, like, these are the times, like, people are really making money off of social media. Like, so I think once he saw, like, I remember one day I had a check, and he saw it, and then that's when he realized, like, okay, she's serious. And then as time went on, and he saw, like, okay, you're in magazines, okay, you're still doing this, okay, you're getting awards, and then that's when he really started respecting.
Oh, this is a real thing,
bro. I jumped out of college to be Brumhead.
I jumped out of college too.
It didn't make sense to my mother until we was in the mall, and we was in Queens at the mall, and she saw a girl trying to sneak a video of me, and she was like, "Oh, this is who you are," and that's an amazing. Now my son is
father was so mad at me.
You gotta see it. You gotta see it.
I didn't even tell him. He just noticed one day, like, "You always home? Why you always home?" And then I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not in school anymore." He was like, "What do you mean not in school?" He's like, "Oh, like you took, like, you on vacation or something? Like you took a little break?" I said, "No, like I'm not going back." And that was a whole argument. But yeah, I dropped out and never went back. And
it's a new day and age.
Everything I know that pertains to my career, honestly, I taught myself over YouTube. DSLR, mirrorless cameras, point and shoot cameras, learning how to use stuff like Final Cut Pro, Photoshop.
I don't know too much about you now. Like, what do you do? I don't like.
Oh, I'm a content creator.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to all my content creators.
Yeah, that's
I specialize in beauty though. So hair, makeup, stuff like that.
Wait, you learned about the yo, what app was that you said?
Hold on.
I'm about to get myself a Final Cut.
I learned that on YouTube.
About to get myself a lipo with my pics now.
All right, well, this episode's been fun. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Okay, so everybody let the people know where they can find you guys at.
Well, you can find us at That and This Shit on IG. You can follow, subscribe our YouTube channel. We got episodes dropping every Wednesday. We on YouTube, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and what's the other one?
We're on Anchor, Google, Apple, just
about
every streaming site.
We kind of new to this, so
SoundCloud is coming this week as well.
Yeah.
So that's spelled DADDINNSHIT.
Yeah. So check us out.
And you can find me at Hikari Fleur, HIKARIFLEURR, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah.
Man, it's been real.
Appreciate y'all for having us, man.
Nah, thank you for coming
good,
up.
Good conversation level.
Yeah.
Sure.
Appreciate that. And we out.